So in this video, I'll be walking guys through on how to send transactional emails in Bubble. And we're going to make use of Brevo. So Brevo is a email sending service which can be used for sending emails with templates, and we can pass dynamic data. So I'm going to make use of this particular Brevo to send email, and of course I'll be testing with this email right here so that we'll be able to receive the email that we have just triggered from Bubble using this Brevo as a service to send the email, and we can make use of this temporary email to receive and test whether are we receiving it or not. So let's get started.
Do you have a great idea for a startup and you're unsure on how to turn your idea into a working product? I have a great news for you. I'm offering a free one-to-one consultation to dive into your startup and discuss how you can kickstart your startup with no-code tools such as Bubble, Webflow, or even Glide. I'll also be offering development guidance for your MVP. All you have to do, drop me an email and schedule a call. More details are in the description below. So, are you ready to supercharge your startup? Like, subscribe, and most importantly, book your consultation. Now, back to the video.
So first of all, I'll be making sure to go to Brevo first. And in Brevo, all you need to do just need to sign up and just create a free account. Right now, I'm also in the free account, by the way. I'm just in the free plan. So I have not subscribed to any of the plans yet. So I'm just making use of the free available services so far. The next step is to create a template so that we are able to send an email, right? So let's get started by going to campaigns, and in templates right here, right under the campaigns, this is where we'll be creating a template which we can use it to send an email. So create template, by the way, email template. So I'm just going to make like a simple template name. This case, I'm going to say test. I would say this is the subject, and we can just leave this preview text optional. Email from this particular email that we have just signed up with, and this is the name of the emails as a sender, and we can need to click on next step. And in the next step right here, this is where we'll be choosing a simple layout for our template. So actually we can just choose any of this, or we can just start with absolute scratch right here. Or in this case, we can just make use of a simple, just like a email where we can use it to send an OTP, just for an example. So in this case, this is the template that you would be receiving, and this first name right here it is actually highlighted because this is where we can pass the dynamic data. So in this case, let's say I can just remove all of this, and in this case, this is where we'll be placing. This is how we'll be having this particular dynamic data. So in this case, we need to pass the dynamic data from Bubble. So in this case, let's head to Bubble right here. In Bubble, we need to go to plugins, and at the moment I don't have any plugins installed yet, so I need to click on add plugins, and of course the first one right here, API connector, is what we needed. So click on install, close it. All right, so this is your API plugin right here where we can actually click on add another API. So in this case, is the place where we can actually set the endpoint which will trigger post requests to this particular Brevo right here. So in this case, let's actually save this particular template right here. I just want to save it for now, and I like to quit. And I would like to go to the settings, and I must be getting the endpoint and everything. Like example, I need to set this particular. So if I click on expand, I must make a post request so that I'll be able to send an email. So in order to have that, so let's actually go to home. And let's go to API right here, because usually you can able to find those documentation together with the API. So I need to go to API keys right here, and yeah, there you go. You just need to look for this, read our API documentation, and in here I would like to go to create and send transactional emails, where we can find those endpoints that we can use it. So this endpoint right here is to send with an HTML content, which we don't want to do that because we are using a template. So we don't want to use HTML content right here. But if you scroll down and if you want something like this, we can actually, click on this, like create a test template that includes dynamic data. This is what we wanted. So if we go a bit to the bottom right here. Yeah, this is the template editor. This we have just seen just now. And there you go. This is the endpoint that we need to use, by the way. In this case, we're able to find the header. The endpoint is here, the header. There's 3 headers that we need to add in Bubble. And this is the body request that we need to make to have that particular email to be sent. So let's copy this particular endpoint right here. Just copy this and place it right here. And before that, let me rename this new API, this change it to Brevo, just for us so that we're able to understand that this endpoint is basically belongs to Brevo, and API call is going to be send email. Okay, so this one would be just the name, and we'll be able to use this endpoint on Bubble. So in this case, the next step is to add these headers right here. There's 3 headers, except then add a shared header is here, followed by the value is application JSON. You see right here. Just keep on adding all this. So we must make sure to use your API key, which we need to find it in this particular Brevo. Next, so let me just fill up all this thing first. All right, so next thing is we need to find the API key. So API key can be found from here because we are, this is where we are able to generate the API key. Click on this button, and I'm just going to use test for now, generate. And I'm just going to make use of this, and I'm going to delete this API key anyways, so I don't think I wouldn't need to hide this. So I'm just going to make use, just copy this and paste it right here. And that's for the headers. Now need to make sure to set all this. For example, it's not a get request, by the way. It's going to be a post request. So it's going to say it's a post request. So we must make sure to use post. And it's not we're going to use as data. It's going to be an action because we're going to trigger an action to send an email instead of fetching for data. So should be an action. Data type is JSON. And we don't need to put any headers right here because this we just put it here at the top right here, which we can just reuse it for all the endpoints right here. So next step is we need to make sure to add the requests body right here. Just need to copy whatever that they have actually provided. In this case, you can copy like this and paste it right here. And there you go. And we don't actually need to pass these headers right here. So this headers is redundant. We don't need to have it here because we already have it right here. The headers are here, so we don't need to call it again. Next step is example to whom are we sending the email to. That's the one that we need to have it, the email to be pasted. So in this case, instead of pasting it directly to here, I'm going to make sure to pass it as a dynamic email variable. For example, so that it'll be easier when we're clicking on this bubble, I can just click on send email, and then I can have like a input to whom or to which email that I would like to send to. So I can make that email to be a variable, and that email that I just placed into the input, I can click on send email and it will send directly to that email. So that's kind of like more relevant, by the way. And let's actually make this email variable to be dynamic. Just delete this particular email right here, and let's say I'm just going to say to email right here, and this will eventually create like a variable, right, like an input right here, where we can actually find to email and we can place the email right here. And this can be used in our front-end bubble, so we can just directly call it from our own plugin right here. So we shouldn't make this as private, or else we can't be sending from the front-end bubble. So next step, I don't want to send any names for now. I'm just going to leave it as just for the email right here. Next step is I would like to get the template ID from the Brevo. So I need to go back to Brevo right here, and I must be heading back to the template that we have just created, and make sure that this template is active, by the way, or else it's not going to be sending that particular email right here. So of course now it is active, and as you can see the ID, by the way, number 3 is the ID, because this is not my first ever template that I just created. So for me it's 3, but if you're trying this particular email for the first time, it'll be 1. So I'm just going to paste 3 here instead. So I'm just going to say 3, and this is the params, by the way. Params are actually let's say you would like to pass it to your template, for example, as a dynamic data. So in this case, I can go to this particular content, and in this case we need to pass this particular dynamic data into here. Let's say I can say params dot whatever name that we have set right here. So you can see, let's say name. So in this case I can put name, and I can also like call, just like make it a bit more smaller, should be fine. All right, that's a name, and there's another attribute called surname. So params dot surname should be fine right here, and there you go. I like to make sure to save this, save and quit. All right, so as you can see, there's no issue, and I'm just going to make sure to send an email to a particular email inbox, and so that we're able to have this particular email to be sent. So as you can see, I just need to copy the email right here, so that it'll be easier for me to send and see the email, that whether has it been saved or not. So as you can see, we have already have all the inputs filled at the moment. And we're going to make sure to send an email to this particular email inbox, by the way. So it's kind of pretty straightforward. Let's make sure to initialize the call before it works. So when I click on, so as you can see, there's some issue with the JSON. This is the format of the way how we send it right here. As you can see, you must make sure that there's no comma. I mean, if there's a comma, there needs to be something right after it. So at the moment, we don't need to have a comma right here. So just can click on initialize call right here. And as you can see, we're able to receive a response from the API itself. And there you go. So you can just go to this particular email provider that we have just set the email to. Now we are able to receive this particular email, and as a template, by the way. And there you go. So as you can see, I've just passed this particular name of the user dynamically from this particular API right here. So now next, I'm also going to make sure to make this name to be dynamic. I don't want surname, by the way. I'm just going to keep one like this, only this. I'm just going to make this like name, and this should eventually will be able to have this particular name as example John, like this, John Doe, like that. So we need to make sure to not to have it as private. So as you can see, we just need to initialize the call right here, so that it just sends back to our temporary email right here. And there you go, we happen to have 2 emails. So this is the first step, by the way. We are already able to send an email through Bubble. So next step is that I'm going to make sure to build it in a way so that we can actually place an email and a full name dynamically, and then with that, those 2 data that the user inputs, we can dynamically send them to their respective email. So how are we able to do that? I'm just going to use just another 2 inputs like this. It's going to make sure to align. So I'm just going to call this as like an email input, and in this case the content format is going to be email. And next step is I'm going to be having another input right like here, and I'm going to make it to the center, place it to the center. And in this case, I'm going to call this as full name. So with these 2 inputs, I'm able to send an email by fetching these 2 data. So in this case, let's edit workflow for this particular send email. So in the first step, I'm going to make sure to call that plugin, which is the API plugin. So it has to be here. So in this case, plugins, Brevo send email. So as you can see, I am able to have this two email and name to be dynamic. So in this case, instead of having this default value, I'm just going to have it from the input, coming from input email's value, and this one is going to be input full name's value. All right, so I am able to test it right now. So this case, I'm going to make use of a different email, and there you go. This is the email that I would like to send to. I would like to receive the email, and I have to place it in the email. And in this case, I'm going to use a different name, but right now, so it's going to be Jane Dawson. So I'm going to hit send email, and let's see what happens. So I think that's it. That's all it needs to happen. So there you go. You're able to receive another email, and this time you have received dynamically passed email, and the name is Jane Dawson. So yeah, that's it for this particular tutorial on how to set up your email sending service using Brevo, and also how to make use of that particular API in Bubble. And yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for watching.